For the first time in many a year, we're back at Clay Pigeon in Somerset, Jenson Button's spiritual karting home. We're here for round 5 of the Tuto Money Super 1 British Karting Championships. We're kicking off this programme with our first look this season at the Bambino class. This is the youngest MSA class in the country for drivers from 6 years of age. Now, this class does not feature racing as such. The drivers leave the grid, as you can see here, with a 5 or 6 second gap between each other, and the idea is to set the fastest lap on your own without racing against other drivers particularly. You will see a few battles develop obviously as drivers catch each other, but the man that wins this race is the one that sets the fastest lap. So effectively think of Formula 1 time qualifying without a race, and there's your winner. That's what it's all about. We'll catch up with the drivers as they race around the track. Now this is the man first on track, the 43. He set the fastest lap in the sessions earlier on. So far it's Archie Clark, and Archie's got a very famous grandfather. His grandfather was Roger Clark, the rally driver. So if Archie grows up to be half as good as his granddad, he will be very good indeed. Got some way to go before he gets there. He's only 8 years of age at the moment. This will be his last year in the Bambino class. We fully expect to see him racing in Super 1 in the Iami Cadet class next year, possibly Honda Cadet, maybe both. Here's Henry McCarthy on the 17. He set 49.98. Archie Clark well clear of the other drivers at the moment, but plenty of time to go in this session.
Well, Archie Clark's still the fastest on that 49.26. Very quick lap. Henry McCarthy, you're looking at there, the 17, is there or thereabouts in terms of times. That is Mason Bishop in the 85, looking for the top 6. And if he gets himself towards the lower end of the 50s, he'll do that. I only think there's going to be maybe 3 or 4 drivers in this field that can dip below 50 seconds at Clay Pigeon. It's a tough circuit, this, and everybody is obviously really dipping their toe in the water of national karting level.
Billy's Blind, the classic first turn on this circuit. Usually lots of incidents we'll see in the races coming up later. Bishop just put in a 50.03, Jake.
Yeah, that's a really good time, to be fair. That's only about 5,000ths of a second, 500ths of a second, I should say, sorry. Slower than Henry McCarthy's time. Freddie Housley going quicker, though. He's done a 49.76, the number 10. Freddie Housley going very well there, actually. And that puts him into the top 3. But is Eden Spanswick, a guy we've been watching very closely in these sessions, can he go any quicker? 49.76 is going to be a tough time to beat. That's only half a second off the pace of Archie Clark, but it looks quite clear that the apple doesn't fall far from the tree in that family.
You can see that some of the drivers getting close to the drivers in front. There is Spanswick's time, Jake, 49.72. I think that's good enough for second, is it?
Yeah, just by 400ths of a second. There's nothing in it at all. And that's what we tend to find, actually, at MSA Bambino level. It's incredibly close. The times are closer than you'd ever get on a race finish. There's Joseph Katsantonis. He's done a 50.07 again. That's proof of just how close it is at this level. He's only 400ths of a second slower than Bishop. That's just good enough for the top 6. But if you look at that, from second Eden Spanswick down to 6th Joseph Katsantonis, there's only 0.3 of a second. That's incredibly close.
Very, very close indeed. This is the starting class, by the way. If you want to start karting in the UK, in Motorsport Association or MSA events, this is the class that you start in. They don't allow the drivers to race each other, but as you can see here, they can't put in 50.64 on the 97 kart. As you can see, the karts do get close to each other, and they will start to have, there will be some overtaking. Here's 3 karts coming towards us, down to Billy's Blind one more time. And these little battles, as we see 2 karts going through the picture there, coming down to Billy's Blind, there will be some overtaking, and this is where they start to learn the racecraft.
And that's a good move there, actually, on the 86 of, that's going to be Jack Sant by Zach Drummond, actually. Zach Drummond making a good move there on the racing line. Ben Clark just puts in a good lap there, a 50.59, and that's Zach Drummond's time. He's just done a 50.82. That's reasonably good. That's just outside the top 10, but in a field this close and competitive, he's going to need to do a tiny bit more work to get himself into the top 10. He might just have enough time to do that, but it is incredible how quickly the MSA Bambino class is becoming very popular indeed. And I tell you what, when I was 6 years old, back in 1992, oh, I can't believe I said that, 1992, when I was 6 years old, there certainly wasn't anything quite like Bambino racing at national level. I think I've missed an opportunity there.
Just showing how young you are, Jake, there.
Oh, yes.
Jack Sant's just put in a 50.99, just under the 51 second mark. The 25 kart just going through the picture, just comes down again towards us, towards Billy's blind. The circuit looking in pretty good shape, I have to say. You see the clubhouse in the background. Never realised before I came here this weekend that the new clubhouse had been built, but a great facility. Michael Walker comes towards us into the hand hairpin, getting a little bit squirrely. I think I said it was the 25 kart earlier on. It's actually the 26 kart, Jake.
Yes, Michael Walker looking to push himself towards the top 10, but when you've got this competitive a grid, you've got 5 drivers. He's just done a 51.27. There's 5 drivers separated by about 3 to 4 tenths of a second, all on the outskirts of the top 10. So this is incredibly tight, and this just gives you an idea of the kind of talent we've got coming through. But there's definitely some names to keep an eye on. Archie Clark, Eden Spanswick, Freddie Housley, Henry McCarthy. Lewis Islin just goes through there, and he's in the top 10. He's done a 50.75, only 400ths of a second quicker than Joe Lewis, who in turn, by the way, is only 300ths quicker than Zach Drummond. So that's how close it is to get into the top 10, as Joe Lewis has just cemented that with that 50.79 time. There's confirmation of it. Laith Khan is only about 1100ths of a second ahead of all of them. Ben Clark is 500ths of a second further up the road. It could not be any closer than that. The grid is absolutely chock-a-block with talent, and they're very tightly knit together. So as they're learning their feet, dipping their toe in the water of national level karting at Bambino level, I have a feeling that my kids are going to start getting jealous when they see this, because they're about the right age for Bambino racing. Trouble is, there's no wad in the wallet to make this happen, to be perfectly honest.
That's fair. Another 3 drivers come towards us. That is the 26. You got the
yeah, that's Walker being passed by Lewis Islin, actually. Islin, who's still trying to push himself towards the top 6, hasn't quite managed it yet, but to be able to get into the top 6, he's got to find another 7 tenths of a second. But he's at the far end of his group, which is a good 6 drivers or so trying to compete for those final few places in the top 10.
Fraser Anderson on the 14, a 59.8, starting to see the karts all close up now. Little battles developing, and this is the MSA's idea. You go out with a 5 or 6 second gap, but those gaps will close, and then the drivers will have their little battles on the track, so they will be able to overtake at certain points. It's not a full-on kart race as we will typically see later in the programme in part 2 and onwards, but it does give them that great experience of just getting time in the seat.
Well, that was a good lap by Fraser Anderson to get into a 50.98. That was 100th of a second quicker than Jack Sant's time, as Cole Glover comes through on a 51.54. So not a bad run from him, but there you go. For 12th position, Anderson and Sant, 100th of a second in it, as Jack Cunningham does a 51.8 for his best time. And
checkered flag's out.
Yeah,
Jake.
checkered flag is out, so that pretty much brings us to the end. So Archie Clark, the apple not falling far from the tree at all, in front of Eden Spanswick, with Freddie Housley in the top 3, Henry McCarthy and Mason Bishop rounding out the top 5. Very close all the way.
So Archie, first visit to Super 1 this weekend and a race winner. How long have you had to travel to come here this weekend?
3 hours.
And you live where?
Beckleton.
Okay, and who do you want to thank for your weekend? You've enjoyed it, obviously. Who do you want to thank?
Mummy, Daddy,
No sponsors yet, I guess.
nah,
And how old are you at the moment?
8.
Okay, well, congratulations on your win this weekend. We hope to see a lot more of you here.
Thank you.
That's our first look at Archie Clark. It won't be our last. Coming up after the break, the first of the race action.